I have a question for you. My question is retirement, the concept as we know it, dead? Hey, I'm Eric Roman, and I believe in holistic leadership. What that is to me is that means that great leaders are just as intentional and just as effective in their personal lives as they are in their businesses. And today we are talking a little bit about the concept of retirement. First things first, where in the world did the concept of retirement come from? I was doing some research. Retirement originally, like this first concept of a pension, happened back in the late 1800s in Germany with German Chancellor Otto von Bismarck. And what was Otto's problem? Otto had a really big challenge. First, he had a bunch of young, unemployed Marxists inside of his country. And so how he was going to overcome this wave of unemployed Marxists was by getting them into the workforce, by getting the old people out of the workforce. So what did Otto do? He created essentially a type of social security system where people aged 70 and older were pushed out of the workforce, paid to stay home, so that he could get this Marxist group that was really changing the architecture of his country into the workforce and creating value. What happened after that in other countries around the world is they're like, hey, Otto was kind of onto something. What was the majority of employment in the 1800s and early 1900s? It was factory work, right? The vast majority of workers in that time period were blue-collar workers using their hands, grinding to get it done. In the early 1900s, America was sitting there and they're saying, hey, we got a problem. We've got all these old people in our workforce, these 70 and 75-year-olds. Like, these are people that have continually had raises throughout the years. So the employers are thinking, we need young people in our factories. Young people we get to pay less than we pay the old people. Let's get the old people the crap out of our workforce and replace them with young people that work twice as fast and we pay them half as much. Genius, right? Well, maybe. That's kind of based on your perspective. That was the original concept of pensions, because pensions are the forebearer to Social Security and retirement. Social Security, when it was initiated, kicked in at age 65. And the life expectancy at the time was 58. Think about that for a moment. That meant that most people never got Social Security because they had already died before they got to that age. What would Social Security as a concept and as a pension look like today from the age that it kicks in? It would probably kick in at something like 85 or 90. Yeah. What occurred in our transition from our original concepts of pension and retirements to where we are today? Well, we get to the 1960s. And in the 1960s, what's changed? Well, these original pensions that we were using to get people out of our workforce, they're working, they're doing the job, but our life expectancies have moved considerably. And so do you know what smart companies started doing? They started glamorizing the possibility of a leisurely retirement. Didn't occur until the 1960s. That's the first concept of when we started having newspaper articles and magazine articles. Guess who started this? It was the financial services industry. The financial services industry said, hey, Eric, instead of like taking your pension and dying, what if you worked towards a pension or a retirement age and spent the following years in leisure? Those generation of workers that were working in the 1960s was the very first generation to be fed the concept of retirements and nest eggs. And what's the idea of the nest egg? It's that you spend your time working so hard building this nest with this beautiful golden egg waiting in it, that you get to a point where you just get to stop the working and ride off into the sunset. When you consider all the people that have been fed the theory of retirement, that the vast majority of people that have been pursuing retirement have failed to actually get what they wanted out of retirement. Either they couldn't retire at the age that they wanted, or they couldn't retire at all, or they died first. Is retirement dead? The more time that I spend talking to other entrepreneurs, to other professionals, and I ask them this question, do you plan to retire? The answer isn't even just like, no. It's like, hell no. I don't ever plan to retire. No way. Let's talk a little bit about why I think this is happening in our society right now. First and foremost, we are becoming wise to the fact that it didn't work out the way that a lot of people planned. The second thing that we're recognizing here, though, is that as humans, we have a desire to create value, to create impact, and not simply to consume the resources of what's out there in the world, so long as those resources are margaritas, right? People are wising up and saying, okay, so wait, what you're telling me is that while I'm young, while I'm physically healthy, what you want me to do is to break my back working extra hours to earn more money, to sacrifice my free time, to not have any freedom from work, so that when I'm old and my body might not be in the condition, or heck, I might not even be alive, I might be then able to have freedom from work. That just doesn't make sense, does it? You know what's interesting? Humans are like a fine wine. It gets better with age. Do you want Warren Buffett's knowledge inside his head at age 20? Or do you want the knowledge and experience inside Warren Buffett's head at age 70? The concept of retirement says no. When we get old and wise and have all sorts of incredible knowledge inside of our brains, we don't apply any of it. We don't use it. We drink margaritas on the beach. I do think the concept of retirement is dying. What do you think? Are you seeing this trend as much as I am? Is retirement actually dying? Is it a failed concept? And is there something new that's replacing it? Thank you so much. I hope that this helps you drive a holistic, healthy life. And I'm Eric Roman. I'll talk to you soon.